right, good morning, sports fans. My name is David Bradshaw. I am the host of the B Draft East weekly video rundown. With me this morning is the fan favorite and quickly budding superstar, Alan Orellana. Alan, how are you today?
Pretty good, Dave. Thanks for having me on. I was a little disappointed. I wanted to be introduced as a celebrity, but I guess I'm not quite there yet. I thought my performance last night kind of warranted it, but we're working on it, and it's very good to be here, so thanks for that.
Fair enough, Alan. You'll have to forgive me. The show is still in its rookie season, so, give me a break. Come on. All right, let's get right into it. I think the most important question we received from our fans was from a guy named Jason Tibbetts from Somerville, Mass., and he asked, how pissed is everyone in the West that they're not playing in the East this season? Alan, what is your take on that question?
They're heated. I know Sam threw a little hate on the SBL beating Heath last week with his West introduction first week preview. I know they're not getting these videos, they're not getting these recaps, and I can just imagine the pain they're in right now.
Yeah, quite frankly, it's killing them inside. I mean, you can either get on a video show with me, you can get live tweeted during your games, or you can play in the West, and maybe Sam will get the write-ups and stats if he gets around to it, if he's not busy. Your pick. So if you like media coverage, this is the place to be. Other than that, I think the East is going to compete in the unification game, if not blow the doors off the West champion, whoever it might be. It's going to be a great season. All right, so without any further ado, Alan, we should probably get into the first game, which was my team, Steel Team 6, versus Pass the Rock to Lamar. And Alan, I don't know if you were there for this game. It was ugly. I came out, had the first 13 points and was in beast mode for 5 minutes, and then went into yeast mode for the remaining 30 or whatever. Pretty ugly game. Alan, what is your take on these teams? I know you didn't see the action, but season outlook, what do you have?
All right, so I'll start with the guys who are not getting any love right now, which would be Pass the Rock to Lamar. Honestly, I don't remember them from the preseason one, and I didn't get their chance to see them last night. Unfortunately, I got there at the end of the second game, so I don't have much to say on them. I will say that it seems like they need some offense. They need to build some of that chemistry, and they need to get the Rock moving. Unfortunately, we do not have a Lamar Odom to pass to, even though he's washed up. I think he'll kill it this week.
Yeah.
But I will say that on my analysis for Steel's Team 6, I don't think you guys were in danger last night. I think you got fortunate in the sense that your first game was against a team that didn't have the size or weight inside to exploit your smallness, for lack of a better word. But I do like you. I do like Francois. I think the two of you are attacking the West early, often, and quite a bit. So I don't see that being a problem moving forward. I just don't know how you guys stack up against some of the Moshes or the Wilsons or the Blackburrows and the Proctors. So you got any take on that?
Yeah, fair point. The size, whether or not that's going to be a problem, we have yet to see that. Versus Short Circuit in the preseason, we shot the ball so well it didn't matter. Last night, we matched up pretty well in terms of size, and we didn't shoot the ball well. We won by 10. Did not quite cover. I think the thing about that game, just going over my notes here, Tom Coburn can be penciled in to score much more than he did last night. Same with Joel, Mason, Mark Weinling. We all shot the ball extremely poorly. I can't imagine we'll have a scoring output like that on a consistent basis. But to give some love to Pass the Rock, they fought hard. Greg Krikorian was an absolute savage in the paint. He knows how to throw his weight around. John Proctor, same thing. My one criticism of their team is where the point's going to come from. I mean, we have Amir Lerner, who shot the ball quite well. Proctor, though, was shooting the ball from different area codes. I mean, it didn't matter where he was. He was pulling up and launching, and it didn't. I don't think he hit many of them at all. Krikorian, same thing. Alex Sherman Ash, though, was banging down low, and he's not the biggest guy, but he plays bigger than his size. He got a ton of rebounds. He had some good baskets late in the game. Just wasn't enough for him. So maybe that team's better than I gave him credit for. Plus, they didn't have their guy Peter Quigley, who would have certainly been a difference maker in that game. So more on that team as the season develops. All
Yeah,
right.
just quick before we move on, I do want to give some love to the big head band, Alex Sherman Ash. He's played in the SDL before. Always fun guy to play with. He'll hustle for you. He'll get those boards. So it's great to see him coming back strong. Also, he's on my Saturday team. So good first game for him. Get that rust off before he gets into the gauntlet that is the SDL. And I will say that we had an interesting trend last night. We had Amir, myself, and Curry, a bunch of late round picks who actually produced and were pretty hot and deep. So we'll talk a little bit more about that moving forward.
Certainly, certainly. All right, so I guess we can move on to game two, which was Madman with a Box versus Short Circuit, two team names which I do not understand. Hopefully Tibbs and Coach Corwin or maybe Guy can clear that up as the season moves on. Uh, Speaking of Corwin, did you see any of this game? He was amazing. I think he was, I don't know, 13 of 15 from the field or 10 or of 12 or something. He had 27 points, didn't miss many shots, maybe two or three. 7 for 8 from the free throw line. He was able to keep his psycho levels down and his shooting percentages up. I mean, when Jesse Corwin's doing that, this team's going to be tough to deal with. Alan, did you see much of this game?
I did. I saw the ending, and I count myself as fortunate for having gotten there when I did because that ending was pretty good. I will say, going into the season, I was a little worried that Noah had actually taken Jesse too high. I thought this was a bit of a BD West spillover into the BDE, but I gotta say, he definitely deserved it last night. Again, it game high 27 points, and that doesn't even begin to describe his defensive prowess, toughness, whatever you want to call it. Fun fact: my first game in the BD West was against you guys, selecting it last season. And a bit of a warm welcome I got from Jesse was first time down into the paint. I didn't have the ball. I wasn't even near the ball. The ball wasn't going to get to me on that one possession. He still wanted me into the wall. So you play with Jesse. These are the things that come with the territory. And he's a great guy along with Salva and Guy to build a three-headed monster because he'll bring the defensive toughness.
Yeah, and it looks like one of the continuing trends on this show is every guest, every personality who comes on has a story of Jesse being an absolute madman.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what we get on that topic next week. More on this team. Guy Schoonmaker was great. If he had some jump shots go down for him, you have to imagine Short Circuit would have won this game. I think he was 0 for 6 from downtown, and he missed a bunch of free throws. You can't imagine that is going to continue throughout the season. The guy can flat play. Matt Salvatore, again, solid player, one of the better point guards in the league. If he gets his offense going, that team's going to be a serious problem. If all three of those guys are clicking, I don't know what you do with that team. Alan, I don't know if you saw Guy or Salvatore. I know you talked a little bit about Matt. What is your take on the other guys besides the infamous Coach Corwin?
So my reaction was first on Guy. So we saw him in the preseason, and he is phenomenal. I think you said that he's probably the best big we have in the league offensively, and I won't argue with that. He is a one-man fast break dervish. He can finish on both sides. He can spin around people. He can still move people a little bit. He can pretty much do whatever you want on moving off the dribble power forward. I will say that I did have a discussion with a couple guys on the balcony, and what we did find lacking was his post moves. We're not sure if they're there or if they're there and they're not falling, or if he's reluctant to go to them, like given the nature of the scene that he has around him. But I am hoping that he busts some of that out, especially when he comes up against some of the smaller teams. So I'll look more for that going forward. I will say that Salvatore is definitely a smart point guard. Very heady, keeps his head up, looks around, passes the block, and should be looking a little bit more for his shot. I think once he gets a little acclimated to the ball arena, I don't know if he's played here, but I'm pretty sure he's a rookie. I think once he gets used to that, the wall being right underneath the bucket, I think he'll be a lot better.
Agreed.
And his jump shot ball, it looks good. It's solid.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we have to talk about Tibbs, who, if I'm being perfectly honest, I thought looked great. He had some nice low post moves. He was looking real good early. Didn't score a ton as the game went on, but he didn't kill him either. He got enough rebounds. He didn't turn the ball over. What's your take on Tibbs? And keep in mind we have to keep the show moving. Just a quick couple of sentences.
All right, fair enough. Um, I came in and I saw Tibbs travel, so my take was he did not look that good. He looked out of shape and he looked a little bit winded. But hopefully he gets it together.
All right. Rounding out the coverage for that team, let me go over my notes here. Dilworth was phenomenal. He hit a lot of baskets, big three late in the game. He had a ton of rebounds. That guy can play. It's very clear why Tibbs took him as early as he did. Christian Hopp, another guy who looked great out there. He was a little upset with the way he shot the ball. I'm pretty sure he's going to get that straightened out. That team's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, short circuit, Madman with a box, two contenders in the opening night. It was a bar fight. It came down to Pat Lamb hitting a three with, I think, 20 seconds to go to tie it. Dilworth answering with a big bucket. And then Coach Corwin couldn't connect from about 45 feet, which you can't really kill him for. So Madman with a box escaped with a W, but you have to imagine that they don't want to see that team again.
Yeah. And just before we move on, I will say that Spencer Curry is another guy who, taken late, hit 3 threes, was 3 from 5 from deep, and just shows that you can get a lot of value from the 30 to the 50 range if you know what you're looking for.
Right. All right, so the third game, we had Swaggy Season versus Big Kahuna Burger versus Nate Weitzer, the referee. Alan, we have to lead this game with this topic. Nate Weitzer calls a real tough loose ball foul with no time on the clock, gives Jeff Orellana a free throw with exactly 0 seconds left in the game. With a tie game, he nails it. Swaggy Season goes on to win. Alan, what is your take on that call? Did you see it? What was your reaction?
I was actually tying my shoes because we were up next, so I missed that call completely. But I do know what happened, and I do gotta say, from what I heard, you can't argue against the call itself. It was a foul, but at that stage in the game, with a few seconds left, going up for a shot like that, I think you gotta let him play.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Alan. And my take is simply this: you can't let the game end that way. You just can't.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, it's terrible. Luckily, we have Matt Kaplan returning next week. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. And unfortunately, I face Big Kahuna Burger. So Scott Hammond's pissed off, and guess who has to cover a furious John Thompson? So that won't be fun. We'll see how that plays out. As for the game, though, stat ho hum, just a mediocre night at the office. 97 player rating. I think he had 24 points, 22 boards, 8 assists. The guy does it all for that team. Prue looked great, rebounding the ball. Aranella is good point guard. I mean, this team looks good. Also, Russo looks solid. Alan, give me a couple of quick thoughts on that team as a whole.
I would say, so first off, I'll start with Swaggy's Season. When going into the draft, you pick your stats building the team around him. He's the talent. He's getting his own talent, and he's just got 3 guys who are giving the ball and he'll do whatever. No, that's not quite the case here. He's got 4 guys on his team that that showed up and they can all put the ball in the hoop. They can all work together. And I actually thought that they did have the best chemistry of any team I saw last night. I thought they moved well. I thought they worked around around Stat. He was like a plan, and they did like little moves just orbiting. But like whenever he had the ball, he held it up. They made the smart cuts, easy points. And then I don't know, it was just like a beast coming in and putting the ball in the hoop. So great effort from them. Great win.
Yeah, agreed. I thought Big Kahuna Burger looked pretty good too. I really liked John Thompson's toughness toward the end of the game. He didn't get a call he wanted under a minute to go. No problem. He got the ball, went straight to the hoop. 2 points, no sweat. And then, of course, Nate Weitzer, took the game over, which he should never have done. But anyway, Big Kahuna Burger looked pretty good. That's another team that's you don't necessarily want to bump into in the postseason, I don't think. All right, anyway, so the next game was Orellana Del Rey featuring yourself versus Something to Prove. This was another great game. The biggest story, however, Jeff Moshe goes down with an injury. Alan, what have you heard from Moshe's camp? Is he going to be all right? We know it's a knee issue. We don't know the severity of it. What do you have?
All right, so insider information. We were on the court talking about it. I'm on the bench. He comes out, and he says he felt something pop. Never, ever, like, concerning a, crucial ligament, ever want to hear someone say something pop.
Right.
Like, the this morning we were all just like twiddling our thumbs and waiting on Twitter for any updates that he can give us. Right now, he's treading water. We'll find out more as he does, and you just gotta hope for the best because he is probably the best big in the league. And with him, we're a top 5 team. I think without him, we're a bottom 5 team. So that's just how it goes.
Quite frankly, I think 5-5 might be generous. Curry looked pretty good despite being somewhat hurt. Allen, you were amazing. I don't think I saw you miss a shot. The stat sheet says you did miss one or two. You were bombing threes, going the ball, taking the ball to the rack, up faking people straight to hell. Allen, how'd you feel last night out there? You were pretty much in the zone for a 3 or 4 minute stretch.
Uh, just doing whatever I could to help out the team. I didn't think I had a particularly great game. I missed like the first 3 threes it took, something bad. But I will say that the team was there. Kareem was an absolute champ. Played his heart out. He pretty much couldn't move right. Like he can go forward, he can go back, he can go left. That's about it. But he still played out there, and he just like he brought everything together with his point guard. So it's good to see. And I gotta say, something to prove. I don't know what they have to prove. They're a top 2 team. They were the second best chemistry-wise team I saw last night. I really like the 3-headed combo: Stash, Wilson, and Albert. Albert will get his bomb those deep threes that you think, what are you doing? Then it goes in and you're like, that's what you're doing. But once Mostert went out, Wilson really just feasted in on Piazza. Guess he's a big pizza man, and that was the end of that game. Not much more.
Yeah, I agree. I think Something to Prove is one of the better teams in this league. I don't understand the underdog theme name. They're as talented as any team. They're going to be right there when it comes down to the postseason. Daryl Albert, I know he didn't shoot the ball as well as I think he can because usually guys who shoot low percentages don't pull up from, half court, which he was doing. The guy can shoot the ball. You got to close out on him every time. Tyreek looked great, I thought, at times. That team's going to be a problem. No question about it. All right, next game. Let me see here. So Cougar Hunters versus KFP. What the hell is KFP?
Kung Fu Pandas.
Oh, Kung Fu Pandas, another name I don't get. It's a cartoon movie with Jack Black, right? So big story of this game. Dave Baxter goes bananas. 40 points. Alan, you saw this. What was your take on Baxter?
So they're a guard. They're like forwards that are fast, athletic, and finish around the rim. And Baxter is not one of those guys. Baxter is the complete opposite. A guy who's just super smart, super crafty. Will lie to you with the ball. Will show it over here and bring it up around here, and just will give you up and unders, hooks over the backs, give and goes. Any possible thing you can do to get a little bit of space or do. He had a smooth jump shot, and he just destroyed Blackburrow. That's my boy, but he destroyed him last night.
All right, so other guys on that team, Jeff Rubin didn't have an amazing game, at least statistically from what I can tell. He looked great in the preseason. Is this a case of preseason hero, regular season zero, or what do you have on Rubin, Allen?
I liked Rubin last night. I thought he looked good. I thought he played within himself, maybe like a little too within himself. He can definitely do more on the court, but yeah, he knew what he needed to do. He basically gets the ball to Baxter, get the ball to Garrity, get out of the way, and let the brother work. They did, and they got the win.
Yeah, speaking of Garrity, he came out and looked pretty good, I thought, for the few minutes I saw of this game. He had a bunch of rebounds. He had a fresh buzz cut. He looked sharp out there. He told me before the game he wanted 20 and 10. It looks like he fell a little bit short, but you got to applaud the effort. They came out with a W. Dustin's team, no Dustin, but you got to salute the guy for showing up to a game that he's not even eligible to play in. You love to see that in your captain. Looks like Proctor scored a bunch. Blackborough had a 21, 11, and 6 stat line, which no big deal, an amazing game. Alan, what is your take on this game, keeping in mind the show's almost over?
It would be absolutely insane not to mention Roussel's awesome game last night. Here's the guy who's like a third, fourth rounder in this league. But absolutely stepped up to the play. Played like a first round point guard. Probably was the best pure point guard I saw last night in terms of getting the ball, bringing it up the court, finding his people, and getting it into Blackborough and Proctor, who absolutely went to town. They're two big men who work well together because Blackborough is the passing guy and Proctor's the guy who's got to stop that turnover. So I really like what I saw from him. And I think you add in Dustin Williams and McNeil, who insiders say have played together, and these two will be great together.
Right. All right. So overall, player of the night, you'd have to imagine it's either Baxter or Stats. What is your pick for player of the night?
I think Baxter had the better numbers. I think Stat.
Fair enough. Also, we have to give Jesse, the coach, Corwin, a nod for runner-up. If his team had pulled out the victory, maybe we'd give him the nod. But, 27 points, missed one free throw. The guy was amazing last night. Let's hope they can get more of that out of him. Alan, any final thoughts?
No, I think this was a good week one. I think a lot of guys got their feet wet. They're getting acclimated to the wall ball arena, and it's just a good curious round of action. So it's a good way to start off the season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the East has a fair amount of hype right now. The league is definitely trending up. There are a lot of guys hanging out in the balcony enjoying the action, except, some of the refereeing. People didn't enjoy that so much. But B-Draft East, I think, is going to take off. If you haven't invested, get in on the ground floor while you can. Alan, thank you so much for joining me on the show, and we'll look forward to seeing you sometime down the road. I know we face off in a couple of weeks, so we'll see you then, if not sooner.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, thanks, everybody. B-Draft East, get down or lay down.
Mommy, you miss me, don't you? Haters, wish you could hit me, don't you? You should call me uncle, I understand. I'm backed by popular demand.